Good morning, students. Hope you have gone through the first video of Unit 2 Prose, A Nice Cup of Tea by George Orwell. Before we get into the continuation of the lesson, let me remind you what we have learned in the previous video. The author, George Orwell, in this lesson suggests 11 golden rules in preparing a nice cup of tea. So the first rule is that one should use Indian or Ceylonese tea. The second rule is that tea should be made in very small quantities like in a teapot. And the third rule is that the pot or the teapot should be heated prior to pouring the water. The fourth rule is that the tea should be very strong enough to drink. And the fifth point is that tea should be directly added to the pot and it should not be imprisoned by any strainers. So today let's go to the continuation of the lesson. Hope you all remember all these 5 rules in preparing tea. So we'll move to the next rule, the sixth rule. The sixth rule is that one should take the preheated teapot to the kettle where the water boils than the other way round. The point implied here is that the water should be actually boiling and this boiling water should be poured into the already heated pot. So the sixth rule is that one should take the preheated teapot to the kettle where the water is boiling. The seventh rule is that once the tea is made, it should be stirred gently so that the tea leaves would settle to the bottom and do not cause trouble while drinking it. So here the rule implied is once the tea is prepared, it should be stirred gently so that all the tea leaves in the tea or the drink will settle to the bottom so that you can drink a very good cup of tea. The eighth rule is that one should use a good cylindrical breakfast cup to drink their tea. This type of cups can hold more and also prevents the tea from getting cold. So this is no wonder since you might have seen long cylindrical tea cups in tea cabins everywhere. So this eighth rule is that one should use a good cylindrical breakfast cup to drink tea. The ninth rule is that one should take out the cream of the milk before you drink. So the cream is that settles above the tea. So if one drinks tea with this cream, it will give a sickly taste. So it is better that we remove the cream of the tea before we consume it. So that is the ninth rule. The ninth rule is that one should take out the cream before we consume this tea. And the 10th rule is a bit controversial because the author suggests to pour tea into the cup first so that a person can regulate the amount of milk he pours into the tea. So this rule is that you should pour the tea into the cup first and then add milk to it. So it should not go the other way around. So the author he keeps insisting that we should add tea to the cup first and then add milk to it so that we do not pour so much milk into it. The 11th and the final rule is that tea should be drunk in the Russian style. So what is this Russian style? It is nothing but drinking tea without sugar. So how many of you drink tea without sugar? I do not know. But the author strongly insists this because adding sugar or sweetening the tea would take away the very flavor of tea. So the author also calls the people who drink tea with sugar as misguided people. He recommends these misguided people to try drinking tea without sugar. So this is a very strong point that we should drink tea in the Russian style or drinking tea without sugar. So I would like to repeat the last 6 points that we discussed today. The sixth point is that one should take the preheated teapot to the kettle where the water is boiling. The seventh rule is that once the tea is made, it should be stirred very gently so that all the tea leaves will settle to the bottom. The eighth rule is that we should drink tea in a good cylindrical cup so that it does not become cold that easily. The ninth rule is that one should take the cream off the milk and then have their tea. The 10th rule is that you should pour tea into the cup and then add milk to it. The last and final rule is that you should drink tea without sugar. By this, we have come to the end of the lesson, a nice cup of tea. But there are also few mysterious or strange ethics around teapots, like using tea leaves to predict arrival of visitors, telling fortunes or predict the future, also healing properties of tea leaves, etc. so and so. So these are all the beliefs of different civilization that revolves around teapots and using tea leaves. So hope you have enjoyed this skill of preparing a nice cup of tea. I've given few glossaries for reference. Please go through their textbooks and comment for clarification. Thank you.